All right, I'm Lee from Dosatron Dilution Solutions. We are a company that's been in existence for about 35 years now here in the United States. And what we do is chemical injection. So I'm just going to go over kind of what we do. And I just wanted to leave this out there for everybody. Our sister company is called Dilution Solutions, and we call it Dilution Solutions for a reason. We have a lot of what we call stock items that everybody kind of knows about, but we also provide solutions for things when people come up with an idea that they want to do. So if you have an application that you think you might want to do something that we may be able to handle, don't hesitate to bring it to us, because we do have a lot of solutions, and that's kind of one of the things that we enjoy doing, is solving people's issues and making things. So I did bring a presentation here. I'm going to share my screen so you can see it.
Hey, and Leah, as you're doing that, I do see a question that was popped into Q&A, and the question was, do you have CDA sprayers? I'm thinking that might be for Terry.
I'm not sure what that is, Heather. If whoever, Jeff, if you could give me a call, or I can put my email in there. If you'd let me know exactly what that is, I can try to answer that for you. Heather, I'll shoot them a message privately.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Heather, can you see my screen now?
I can't, but if you want, I can stop sharing. That might be easier to.
Here. Okay, hopefully
now we can. It looks great.
Okay, very good. So I've got it on a second screen that my camera's not on, so this might look a little funny. So anyway, this is chemical mixing and delivery made easy. Okay, this is what we do. At Dosatron Dilution Solutions, we create solutions for automatically chemical injection and mixing. Now, I want to make one thing real clear, especially with new growers, because we get this question all the time. They say, what if we want to be an organic grower? When we say chemical, we're not necessarily meaning a chemical compound. It could be organic, and we do a lot of things with organic growers. It's just a term that we use as to a product that we inject. So basically, we inject chemistry into water lines. That's primarily what we do. This can be irrigation, this can be sprayer fills, this can be almost any type of application where you have a water line and you want to put chemistry in this water line and either deliver it to a crop, deliver it to a sprayer, or anything else. We have two different technologies. We have our water-powered Dosatron technology, and we have an electric-powered Editron technology. The Dosatron is our water-powered technology, and the water going through the unit actually powers the pump. If you can see my pointer on the screen, the water enters the unit, and it powers a piston up and down. Below that piston in the lower part of the unit acts like a syringe. And it's like a one-way pump that pulls product up, mixes it into the body of the unit, and then goes out into the water stream. Here are some reasons why we want to automate injecting chemistry. One of it's for it to be reliable and repeatable. The next thing is to decrease exposure and liability, especially if you're doing something for pH control, injecting like sulfuric acids or caustics, or even chemicals that you don't want to become in contact with and don't want to have your employees handle. It saves labor because you save time from somebody measuring and mixing. And it also minimizes human error. And this especially comes into play when you're dealing with employees and you're giving them a measuring cup. And, a lot of times these guys don't really care if they put 5 ounces in a tank or 8 ounces in a tank. And that can either lead to an over application or under application of whatever the product is. And it can also cost you money, which is not very good either. Here's a lot of the things that we do a lot of. We do a lot of fertilizers, fungicides, insecticides, beneficials, line cleaning for irrigation, and pH correction in irrigation water. We can also do pH correction if you're filling a sprayer. If you want to use a buffering solution and you're trying to hit a certain pH in your spray water, we can put an injector on there and do that where you do not have to constantly be taking pH readings and adding pH buffering solution, which can help your chemical efficacy quite a bit. Here's some examples of, this is an actual irrigation room in an indoor hydroponic facility. And what these are Dosatron injectors that are pulling nutrients right out of these tanks and are going right into an irrigation line. Where this line goes, it goes into some grow rooms, but we're injecting all of the nutrients right here. In the picture on the right-hand side, we're doing the same thing. These large tanks that you see are actually reverse osmosis storage tanks. We're bringing water in, they're going through a reverse osmosis system, and then coming out of that RO system, then coming down through, going through our Dosatron system, and then going into a grow room. Probably most of the injection we do in this market is going to be fertilizers and nutrients. We have a lot of vegetable growers that will use non-compatible fertilizers, such as a phosphorus-based fertilizer along with a calcium nitrate, which you cannot mix and concentrate, but they do fine in their final dilution. So we will mix those separately. This particular one has an A and a B tank and a pH down. Usually your A or B has your phosphorus fertilizer, then the other one will have the calcium nitrate. And then we're doing a separate pH adjustment on this before it's going out. In the slide up top, this is like a field application. We do this type stuff on skids for farms, for vegetables, mums, all types of outdoor applications. And then in the slide in the lower, it's a little here, but this is an actual moving greenhouse boom that travels through the greenhouse and irrigates from overhead. We can actually put our units right on those booms. And since this is a water powered unit, we don't have to worry about running power to that boom. The water going through the irrigation powers that unit, and it can actually travel right along on that boom. Here's another application of where, a vegetable operation with an A, B, and another type additive might be a micronutrient, might be beneficial. It could be almost anything. We do have some limitations as far as flow rates in our units because they are rated at a maximum flow rate that we can put through the unit. We can overcome this by doing parallel applications. The slide on the right is actually 100 GPM units, which means we can put 100 gallons a minute of water through that unit for it to inject. And this particular operation we worked on, they needed about 1,000 gallons a minute to run this irrigation in this field. So we paralleled these 100 GPM units to meet that 1,000 gallon per minute flow rate. We now have some injectors that are even larger than that we can do even higher flow rates than that. Here's some more applications, and this is just to kind of show everybody that we try to figure out what the solution is, and it's not a solution that's a one-size-fits-all. It's whatever the customer wants to do or has an idea, we can facilitate that and design either a single unit or a system with multiple units. And sometimes we even mix technologies with Editrons and Dosatrons in the same system to meet the customer's needs. In this particular one here to the right, it's a little hard to see, but there is an Editron microdoser in this, and we will use those if we want to use really strong chemistry in the water. And when I'm talking strong chemistry, stuff like 93% sulfuric acid, peracetic acids like Sanidate, Xerotol, or other products like that, things will go in at a ratio of anywhere from 1 to 20 to 1 to 30,000. Just a couple more applications here, and you can see it's very versatile. So here's something that we've really, in the past couple years, done a lot of work on, and this is for commercial applications and or land care companies, people that do a lot of pesticide spraying, herbicide spraying, that type applications. We can make panels where we can automate filling sprayers with whatever your recipe is. It could be an herbicide, a wetting agent, a pH buffering, possibly maybe a pre-emergent herbicide, if you're a land care company doing those type things. We can put these things directly onto spray trucks. If you're pulling water from another source out in the field somewhere, we can do a mixing station, right on a truck without an issue. And with water powered injectors, all you have to do is hook a garden hose or whatever that hose is up for those type fills. And then we also do some smaller fill applications, which is really kind of nice. These are great for filling jugs and containers, small sprayers, even things for sanitation. The backpack sprayers is one thing. If you've got a crew of guys that you've got 20 people filling backpack sprayers at the beginning of the day and maybe refilling those sometime during the day, if they're taking a measuring cup every time to these sprayers, you can pay for a system to pre-mix this and fill those sprayers pretty quickly. Here's some other applications that we see a lot of in food production, but now we're also seeing a lot of this in the cannabis and hemp market, especially in the processing side. Once they harvest, they have to bring things in. All of the surfaces have to be disinfected. Everything has to be clean. Also, disinfection for fungal diseases and pathogens coming into a facility, especially an indoor facility that you're trying to keep clean. We do a lot of that, and we do it from anything from truck washes. Biosecurity foaming applications is a really good way for cleaning greenhouse benches, walls, and floors in between crops. It makes the chemical stay on the surface longer, and with a lot of these sanitation products, the longer the chemical contact time is, the better the kill is. So foaming turns out to be a really good application for that. And then we're even doing stuff in packing houses. I know probably through Winfield, we're not going to be doing a lot of materials in packing houses, but for wash plants and that type stuff, we do a lot of those type applications. I put this slide in here, emerging crops for hemp and cannabis. This is kind of one of these things. 6 years ago, if you had asked me that if I was ever going to be working with cannabis growers, I would have laughed. I was a tree grower for over 20 years, and then, I've been in the allied product side of the business for, another 12. And I never thought work with cannabis people, but since legalization in many states, most of the cannabis people are growing hydroponically, and they're pulling nutrients and multiple products and injecting into the irrigation. It's all drip irrigation, and that's how they feed their plants. So Dosatron has been in the front of the cannabis industry since it legalized in Colorado and California. And we have a very strong presence in the cannabis industry. So about everybody in that industry knows who Dosatron is. They know what we do. We build solutions we call our nutrient delivery system. We developed it for the cannabis market, but it is crossed over into standard horticulture and into now the hemp market. The hemp market we're finding is a little bit different because we're seeing either larger fields with higher flow rates, outdoor production, and it's a learning curve, but we are definitely in the forefront of that. And we can help the customers there. And the other thing we found out with our knowledge base in that particular industry is finding the right solution for the grower. And we have methods and ways of putting these systems together that are custom for each grower, because every one of them is a little bit different and they want a little bit different solution, but we can come up with that. And if you do have something like that, I mean, contact your Winfield rep. The rep will contact me. We'll put the solution together and get everything going for you. This is kind of a diagram of what we're talking about when we talk about our nutrient delivery system. And we do this in what we call a kit form. We have these units and pieces and parts in a kit to where it comes to the grower complete. They don't have to go shop for pipe fittings and all the stuff to put it together. They can put this together, hook water in and water out, and they can be up and running pretty quickly. We start off with a starter kit, which has a filter, pressure regulator, freshwater tap, and pressure gauge on the water coming in. This particular one, we put an Dosatron microdoser in the front. This would be this little electric pump right here that direct injects into the pipe. And it would be used for something that would go in at under 1.5 milliliters per gallon. It could be a silica product, it could be a pH product, it could be a lot of different things. Then we use mixing chambers in between to make sure this chemistry is mixed up before it comes to the next line. So in this one, we have 4 Dosatrons actually picking up from these 4 different jugs, and it's mixing all of this product together. And at the end of it, we actually put on a monitor which measures pH, EC, and temperature. And then at the end of the line, we put on a water hammer arrestor. This is the type recipes that we can create when somebody comes to us and says, you know, I have a recipe that has 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 parts. We can put that all together and automate this. If you were hand mixing all of this in a big reservoir or something, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And this is something that can save time, and also it's accurate. I mean, you're not having to use a measuring cup and worried about mismeasuring or anything. To kind of step up from that, we can further automate this with our electric Dosatron series. And this particular thing is another type of our nutrient delivery system, but we're utilizing our electric technology with the Dosatron pumps, and they're being controlled by a flow meter. So these pumps will speed up and slow down based on flow that is going through this irrigation. This is a nice thing with both Dosatron and Dosatron, is they inject based on proportion. So if you're wanting something that's mixed at, say, 1 ounce per gallon, these pumps are going to mix at 1 ounce per gallon if the flow rate changes. So say we have 1 gallon per minute going through the system, it's constantly going to put the same amount in. If that flow increases, the pump speed up and increase to make sure that is accurate delivery. So we're direct proportional injecting. It's not dependent on flow rate. We can use a wide range of flow rates with the same equipment and get the same results. Here is my contact information. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Reach out to your Winfield rep. They will get in contact, and we will figure out whatever we can for your solutions. Are there any questions?